Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Festiflix edition of Wade Watches. I'm Wade, and today I got a new holiday season movie for you that I'm going to review that's still playing in theaters. Silent Night, directed by the legendary John Woo and starring Joel Kinnaman. And for John Woo's first movie in quite some time, I think I read somewhere that this was his like first American movie in like almost 10 plus years, maybe 15. It's nothing you haven't seen before. It's that definitely by the numbers revenge action flick, and to me it was a cross of definitely some Thomas Jane's Punisher, the 2004 movie with John Travolta. That's really what it reminded me of the most. Crossed with Mr. Bean. Those two. I would say like there's a little bit of John Wick in there, but it really for a movie from as it says on the poster from the producer of John Wick. It really mainly reminded me of like Thomas Jane's Punisher and Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean, of course, because as we all know, this movie is predominantly dialogue free. There's like a smidgen of spoken dialogue with like radio chatter, like on the radio you hear people talking, you hear people talking on like videos and in TV in the background. And there is a scene where one character does whisper something, but other than that, it's pretty much a dialogue-free movie, and I like that aspect of it. I really did. I like movies where there's little to no dialogue, movies, TV shows, anything like that. I am a Mr. Bean fan. I like the first few minutes of There Will Be Blood, where there's virtually no dialogue, and I don't know. I just like that. I like there are still some silent films that I enjoy watching. I just like the idea and the capability of telling a story without words. That really appeals to me. Um, but apparently it didn't appeal to a couple of people in my screening because at one point I actually did hear somebody in my screening say, "Why isn't anybody talking?" So that might be hit or miss for some folks, but it's a hit for me. I really enjoyed that. Um, other than that, that's pretty much the highest praise I can give Silent Night. Like the fact that it's this dialogue-free action movie because the story's nothing you haven't seen before. The way things end up is, you've seen it happen before and go down before. There's no surprises to be had here. The action was cool when it was going down, and I actually did like that the one angle that this movie had in which Joel Kinnaman, light spoilers for the movie, but Joel Kinnaman is not an ex cop. He's not ex-military. He's not some secret agent. He is an average guy who has to learn, who is like becomes a self-taught badass. He watches videos. He starts working out to get in shape. He goes to a shooting range to learn how to use guns. I like seeing that in a year where we've gotten a John Wick movie and a Mission Impossible movie with two action heroes, action stars that we all know could like end this room full of adversaries in under a minute because they're so badass, they're god level badass, which is fine. But I'm just saying, in a year where we got two movies with pretty much invincible, unstoppable action heroes, it was refreshing to see a movie where the hero didn't feel like this badass right off the gate. He had to, he had to attain these skills by teaching himself, by being self-taught. But again, that's been done before. We've seen that before, and we've also seen movies where while a hero's not self-taught, they're put in the program and trained to become a badass. So that's not like super refreshing. But for this year, where I've seen movies like John Wick and Mission Impossible, where it's just these unstoppable badasses right off the gate, it was cool to see that. Um, and that's about all I can say about Silent Night. This is a very minimal movie. I read that it was made with $30 million, and I have no problem with small budget, small scale movies, so that's not a complaint. But I say that to say there's not much to talk about here. Not at all complex, surface level action movie stuff. If you've seen The Punisher from 2004 with Thomas Jane, you've seen this movie, or if you've seen any movie like The Punisher from 2004 before you've seen Silent Night, except those movies have spoken dialogue. But I enjoyed myself just enough to give this movie a 7 out of 10. Yes, Silent Night gets a 7 out of 10. I know it seems like I spent most of this review saying, it's generic stuff, but I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed the fact that there's no dialogue spoken or hardly any. And Joel Kinnaman himself really sells the movie for a role where he pretty much can't speak. His facial expressions and actions pretty really did had to work for this movie. Like he had to sell this movie through actions alone and no words, and that includes facial expressions. And surprisingly, he pulls it off. Because Joel Kinnaman to me has just never been a standout actor, but here he really is, and he showcases that he does have like dramatic acting chops. So hopefully he gets more challenging roles like this, because it's quite challenging to be a nonverbal performer more than people think, because you have to pretty much like tell a whole story or help tell a narrative with your actions alone, and that's harder, that's really hard to do. And I respect it, and I respect Joel Kinnaman for actually being able to pull it off. And the action when it was going down was entertaining enough. It was cool, it was nice, it was crisp, but it just wasn't like, you know, on the same level as John Wick Chapter 4 where it fucking blew me away and it was like orgasmic. But I had a good time watching Silent Night. It was serviceable enough. It was a fun little time at the movies watching another R-rated Christmas action movie. Though it really doesn't have anything to do with Christmas except for like, you know, the background, you know, like Christmas decorations and stuff in the background, and I guess when the movie takes place. So don't go in expecting this to be just like Die Hard where Christmas is like just front and center throughout the whole movie. It's not, but still, you know, takes place during Christmas, or part of it does. So I guess it counts. I'm not going to start fueling. I'm not going to fuel the fires of that ongoing debate. I'm really not. But anyway, 7 out of 10 for Silent Night. This has been another Festive Flicks edition from Weight Watchers, and I will see you all very soon. Peace.